think we need them all.
Okay. So that question didn't count.
Oh, so we can lose one of them because we're all so crowded together. If we just lose one of them, we don't need all of them, right? Because that way we're not so on top of each other.
This is going to be a victory too, right?
Yeah.
That's why I have the ignore button.
Who are we missing?
Well, we thought maybe a chair for Mike.
Maybe
Mike is going to be
Okay.
in there.
I
I don't
would
know.
FaceTime with people.
I don't-
give them,
just Mike, I
without
think,
a
right?
problem. And I spent a day literally helping this woman get online. And then 2 weeks later, at 3 a.m., I'm getting FaceTimed. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? She's like, you've been so helpful.
How do I do this?
You probably want to move over so you're in the camera shot.
I'm a wandering Jew. See, everyone had paper signs. I decided
Yes.
that being a geek,
it's,
I had to make mine
No,
on a glowforge.
I'll get it. I put it over. It's over here. I'm just grabbing her water.
Oh, of course. Hey.
There you go. You're welcome.
All right, welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. And it just went live, so I can't imagine we have a lot of online people here yet. But I want to start with introductions to the panel. I am Mike Horton from Party of Four Crafts and Friendliest Glowforge group on Facebook. This is...
Hi, I'm Jonathan. I'm the IT geek for the group. I also seem to be the the Glowforge house elf. If people have problems with their Glowforge, please come to the group. You can ask me, or there are 11 other experts on every single kind of problem you may encounter with a Glowforge. We don't really know the aura yet. That is Gwen's specialty more. But, uh-oh, she's laughing. She's like, I've had it 2 weeks, John. But, so if you have a performance model, we can probably help you. I know right now there's a lot of people with cable image problems because Glowforge has not restocked in 4 months. We are doing everything we can to pressure them into either restocking or telling us when they'll be restocked. We're also looking into third-party options for as many parts as we can for replaceable parts. But if there is a technical problem, myself, my clone Jonathan, is the team Jonathan.
Jonathan Cindy Stevens.
Yes. All
There's
right.
also Lisa, and there's also Jim in Canada that can answer technical stuff. But literally, we all, beside, the rest of the people, most of the time, we can at least give you an answer. Maybe not be the right answer, but at least it's an answer.
All right, Toby.
Hi, I'm Toby Shockman, co-founder and CEO of Cuddle.xyz, which is a web-based design tool for laser cutting. Thanks for inviting me here, Mike. I'm also here with Federico, who does our video tutorials.
Nice.
They're awesome. Thank you.
Cuddle?
Genevieve.
That's never been said before.
I'm upstaged. Hi, everyone. I'm Genevieve. You may know me better as Genevieve Ishtar. I'm the admin of the Glowforge user group, also Glowforge After Dark, and a couple others, Laser Designers group. The list goes on. I've got the freebie group too, Groundhog Freebies. That's mine. I haven't been there lately, though. I apologize. Thanks to Michael so much for inviting us here. This has been the first one of these that I've been able to attend, and I'm really excited. I'm supposed to cover Illustrator, but you guys can also just come up to me and talk about just about anything, and I'll be pleased to get to know you, put a face to the names, and maybe talk about your projects and see what you're doing, or if you have any insights for me and tell me what's going on.
And she's a great designer. I'll say that for her. Yes.
Thank you.
My name is Mark, Big Blue Laser Designs. I design things that hopefully you guys enjoy using. I also love doing tutorials and just helping people learn how to use their lasers. So that's what I do.
I'm Will, Crazy Laser Dad. I sell laser-ready blanks, and
I'm definitely like Mark. We try to help out in the community as much as possible. And anytime we get an opportunity to come to an event and meet other makers and learn from them, pull from you guys. Hopefully, you guys can pull some info from us. We definitely enjoy it. So,
And I think it's awesome, and we should really thank. None of these people is getting paid to be here or selling anything. Some traveled from very long distances to get here without any reimbursement for travel expenses or hotels. They just enjoy helping people, and I think that's what I've used a lot of lasers, but Glowforge is my favorite because of this community. There are a lot of lasers that hardware-wise are bigger and faster and have do things that Glowforge can't, but none of them can match this. This is what Glowforge has, this community of people willing to help everyone out, and I think that's amazing, and we should thank them all.
Adding to community, there was a woman in Hawaii who was involved in a fire, and she lost her Glowforge, and she lost everything. And it's a matter of that she went to the community and said, help me. And it wasn't about money. It wasn't about it. Was just, I still need to make money. I still need to do things. Glowforge has been unresponsive. The only thing they offered me was a couple of $1,000 discount on another machine, but they wanted their own machine back that was a pile of ashes.
Well, they told her to go back and get the parts.
Yeah,
Send it
and
back.
Glowforge
Yeah.
actually
Terrible.
stepped up to the line and gave her a free machine, but it was because of the community. The community they wrote Dan, the owner, they wrote letters, they wrote emails, they called, and said, you've got to do something to help this woman. And the community is what changed Glowforge's. Their heart grew several sizes, and they actually went and gave this woman a brand new Glowforge.
Which is great. Yeah, I love it.
So, to Glowforge.
All right, we're starting to get an audience online, but we're going to start with in-person questions. I will repeat questions either from online or the audience so each can hear each other. So let's go. What questions do you have for our experts?
Or us, either one. Yeah, whichever you. Yeah. Right, yeah.
I don't know a whole lot about sushi, but I'll help you out.
Yeah, right. Some good sushi last night, by the way. It was really good, yeah. Yeah.
I have a
Carla.
question for Toby. Cuddle, so I just, you started coming about in the groups, at least are the groups I follow, right, just recently. How did you come about, you're the CEO, so it's awesome to have you here. And actually, I was just on your site just last night because I need to get the ball going on those ornaments, right, those stacked ornaments and stuff. So how did you come about your company?
Sure.
And how long has it been?
Started working on it 3.5 years ago. I've made a bunch of laser cut art projects and projects for the work that I used to do, and was never really satisfied with Illustrator and Inkscape. I wanted there to be parameters, which are like settings that can then change your design. And even for things like material thickness, like that might change how a 3D thing assembles, and you want to be able to adjust that after the fact because your new material is different than your old material. So it started as sort of a design tool just for doing specific projects that me and my collaborators were doing, and then we decided we wanted to turn it into a whole design tool that other people could use. And then I think it's sort of only recently become really popular in these groups because of the way that you can personalize, quickly personalize designs. You just type in a name or whatever, and then it makes the SVG that's ready to be cut on your Glowforge or your other laser cutters. So that's been exciting. And then today, the presentation this afternoon, I wanted to both show that, but also show that we have an entire web-based vector editor, so it's comparable to like Inkscape or Illustrator, but it allows, it's what all the templates were made in. So like we made these templates using this new web-based editor, and you can make your own templates, and I wanted to start showing some of that.
That's great. Yeah.
And for me, like I'm an assistant principal at a school, and we all use Chromebooks. So Inkscape and Illustrator and Silhouette are out of the question. So Cuddle, because it's completely web-based, can be done on a Chromebook. So that's really valuable for schools as well.
He rejected my original idea for the name, which was Curfew Red Baron.
The schools have also been really interesting. There are like a couple of high schools and middle schools that use Cuddle for their for projects, and I got to visit one last year up in San Jose. It's pretty interesting, like what the kids were capable of doing with it. So that's also an exciting part of the tool, is the education side.
Before Cuddle, my school has spent tens of thousands of dollars buying laptops just so the kids can use Inkscape to use our Glowforge. Or we could have gotten Cuddle subscriptions much cheaper, and they just do it on the Chromebooks that they already have. Makes sense.
I see a lot of schools are starting to get the Glowforge. I mean, I see
Yeah.
Yeah.
people are starting to.
I'm seeing public libraries are getting maker spaces now, and that they're getting 3D printers and sewing machines and Glowforges, and it's really exciting to start to see it becoming more standard and more accessible. Because the more accessible it is, I have always called it the warm puppy. Here, take this puppy home for the weekend, bring it back Monday. Which was the original test drive a Macintosh thing, was take home the Macintosh just for the weekend, bring it back Monday. Nobody ever brought it back Monday.
All right, we have some questions online for Mark and Will.
Oh.
Will, what's your best-selling blank during the Christmas holiday? And Mark, tell us about your birch.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Birch, please.
At least they said birch and not tell me about your wood.
I'm not talking about the bird.
Yeah, right.
Tell me about your wood,
Wow. Thanks for repeating that in case nobody heard it.
just in case.
No, wait, still, it's.
Yeah, I know. It's
this
really
is
early.
morning wood.
This is, yeah, wow.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Click it.
Right, shouldn't this go on Glowforge after dark?
I was going to say, Will, please save me, but I know you won't.
No,
So,
no, I will throw you
so
under that bus.
let's talk about your most popular blanks during the season.
Yeah, so for the holiday season, from what I've noticed, cutting boards are still my #1 seller, and that's not just during the holidays, it's just year-round, right? For realtor gifts, but during the holidays, the handwritten recipes being traced and being given as gifts are a huge one. I see a huge spike in cutting boards during the holidays. It's hard to tell. Some want the higher end boards, some want lower end boards, but cutting boards for sure are the easiest, in my opinion, one of the easiest gifts you can make. It's set it in there, you put it in, you engrave, and it's done, right? You clean off any char you have, and it's a high return on it. I buy a cutting board for $10. I approach a realtor who's giving a closing gift. It takes me an hour, and people are like, well, it's a long engrave, but I'm done. And it's $65 to that realtor. So that's, think about if I do one in an hour, if you're using a Glowforge, right? It might be different if you have a faster laser, but a $55 hour is a pretty nice time. Hand tracings sometimes take time. You have old recipes with the oil stains, you want to remove the lines. There's programs out there with Procreate, or I do, like for me, my time is too valuable to sit there and trace it. I outsource it. There's so many great people in the groups who trace a recipe for $5, and I'm passing that on to the customer, and they do it in 30 minutes versus me taking 2 hours because I'm just not as proficient. And I always look at what's going to save me the most amount of time to get my return on investment.
Yeah,
So cutting boards for sure.
that's great. I'm not going to spend much time selling things. I don't want to do that. But I sell MDF, and we just started selling Baltic birch in the last couple of days. So if you guys need that, I'd love to help you. But really, I'm not going to sell on that. So next question. No,
All
we're
right.
talking about wood.
Question from the live audience.
Yes,
Just
yes,
just
I
now.
have one too.
So
You
let
know,
me, let me
repeat-
repeat the
repeat that
question,
question,
asking
yeah.
about the shaper trace. I know Will has one. I'm going to be showing one later during my presentation as well, but
perfect.
I think Will has used it more than I have.
What is it exactly? I don't know what it is.
You're like, I saw it on Kickstarter, it looked cool. Will showed me, so I had to
So
buy
she
it.
said, I don't know what it is either that I bought. So,
I have that problem too. So it's actually a tool that it has a frame, and you put just a piece of paper, and you can draw. And I think Michael's pulling out. You can draw with a felt tip marker and take a picture with it in your phone, and it will vectorize it for you. So I used it mainly. I was intrigued by it. I used it for jigs. So if I have an oddly shaped thing that I'm not creating an inkscape, I can just put like a coffee clip or a pocket knife, trace around it with a marker, take a picture of it, and it will be a vector that I can now cut for jigs. I haven't used it for more than that yet, but it's definitely something that
Company is shaper.
can apply. You can do all of that in any of the design programs, right? Even the Glowforge tracing works well. For me, this is something that I want to see if it increased what I was able to do as far as efficiency. I haven't used it enough to give you a full review on it, but there are definitely uses for it. And I also have the Shaper Origin CNC. That's what introduced me to that originally, and I just saw, oh, I trust that company already. Let's see if they have a product that could speed up my production.
All right, do we have another question online? It says for everyone, but I think we have one member who will really enjoy answering this question. Do you all feel that Glowforge will develop a new product or overhaul their warranty and customer support systems now that there's several competitors in the desktop space?
we might as well start down here because I know that Jonathan will run away with this one.
I think. Wait, I just got a text. Remember,
there you
John,
go.
we're paying you. I think Glowforge is the best product ever made and will be. Wait. The IBM said, we are IBM. We dictate the market. We will tell you what you will use. We will tell you what you will like. The market went to IBM and went. Glowforge needs to understand that they are no longer the only game in town. There are a lot of other players. And if Glowforge currently, and again, these numbers are out of my butt, spends 90% of their money on marketing. They do not spend money on what people want. If you don't innovate, you die. If they don't innovate, they will die. If they don't listen to what people want and need, they will die. They can only turn a deaf ear for so long, and sooner or later, people are going to go, I could buy an X-Tool P2 for less money, with more features, with great tech support. I can buy a Thunderbolt, which is a Thunder, which is an awesome box, now in a smaller, usable,
I don't know anything about them.
friendly, prosumer level. So the fact is that, innovate or die. One of my biggest issues with Glowforge is they came out with a great machine. They have awesome software. They have not changed anything in 6 years. You do not release a product and do not, as things happen, you modify, you innovate, you change,
Can I
Yeah, go ahead.
chime in?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
most of the panel has multiple lasers, including Glowforges.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we'll
Yep.
jump in, let everybody.
I've got the Pro. I've had the Pro. I bought it in pre-launch.
Yeah.
So it was 2014, I think, is when I actually plopped down my money. And I didn't get it until late
16?
2017, I think, is when I got mine. So I've had a long time.
Yeah.
And I've used it a lot. And the key thing for me was, when I first bought it, it was a toy. I'll say flat out. I spent a bonus on it. It was the biggest thing I'd ever purchased and not actually gotten something right away.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of having an at-home laser. Like, that to me was just the propeller started spinning. Glowforge, as he said, is great marketing. They really do. Because they're approaching everyone and saying, you can do this.
Yeah.
They don't have any type of a thing that says you need to be a tech person, you need to be a graphic designer, you have to be this, you have to be that. No, they said, you know what, you don't have to know any of this, and you can get in here and you can do exactly the same thing all
Yeah.
of these other people are doing, which really pissed off a lot of the other laser makers, because they had this market that they were fulfilling all these things, you know, and then all of a sudden these people, you know, average people could go to a fair and they could take their product made on a laser and compete.
Yeah.
So, you know, we watched the wars going on, and especially in the groups, as the groups evolved and people just really hating on the Glowforge. But I actually was telling Jonathan earlier, yes, Jonathan, sorry. Everybody's new so far today. That I actually designed something in Illustrator that I used my Glowforge to make, that then I saw going the rounds in some of the other big laser groups, and they were saying, see, this is an example of what the Glowforge can't do. And I was like, hi, that's my graphic.
No, the Glowforge, honestly and truthfully, their software is unbelievable. That you know, I couldn't draw a straight line with a T-square. And the fact is, the Glowforge fed, you know, I could download some crappy image from the internet and turn it into a masterpiece with just, you know, a couple of tools, with just a couple of things. That the software is really awesome, and that what they've
Well, it's
developed.
plug and play.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
And-
I have a big laser. I've got one that fills half my garage. And it does the stuff that I don't use the Glowforge for. It does thicker materials. It does basically the same files, but I don't have to mess around with the pass-through anymore. And so that's what I was kind of getting to. I think I got off, derailed a little bit. But is that, you know, there are these markets that have the bigger and bigger lasers, or you have the bigger and bigger companies that are trying to do the smaller lasers now. And I really don't know that Glowforge has to compete with that, because when you make a product that fulfills a niche, you don't necessarily have to make a new one or a different one. Now, I think from my personal talkings with people at Glowforge, that they're probably going to do something with a riser and a deeper bed. You know, because that's a simple thing to do for the way that the machine is built. They don't have to redo the whole thing. I mentioned the fact that the P2 from X-Tool has got this conveyor belt to run your material through the pass-through. See? You don't have to do it by hand. You don't have to have that 4-inch lineup that I tell people to do. And if they just add those features, I think they'll do very well in keeping their same market space. Now, what they have to stop doing is they've got to stop putting it on the kitchen counter, guys.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, really.
Right.
You know, even
I
with the
think
filter.
That's what these companies, the other companies have done well, is listen to people's complaints about Glowforge and build a laser that fixes those problems with
Yeah,
the
but-
pass-through. And they have other problems, the biggest of which is they don't have this community around them. But I think the other laser companies are listening, and they're trying to fill in some of those gaps.
And you know, I think we would all agree that one of the things that Glowforge does best is simplify a process. You know, make it easy to get to quickly. And I think that, in my opinion, they own that space completely in terms of percentage, just making it easy. There isn't anybody else that makes it as easy as they do. Now, other people have other features that may be better, all those things, and maybe they got better support. But as far as the just entry, a person getting in and making something
Plug and
quickly, plug and play, nobody's even close.
Yeah.
And so I think if they're smart, they will not lose that part and just develop around that.
And I always
They're
say,
the lightest machine, too, that I've
Oh, yeah.
encountered
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
far. They're only 70 pounds.
82.
The P2 is 100.
heavy.
It's
Right.
so heavy.
So you know, the question of, I think the original question was, are they going to develop, what was, I actually lost the question. It was, are they going to develop something new? The answer is sure.
Develop or
Even
innovate.
before they came out with the Aura, a lot of us were guessing where they're going next, and I was wrong. I was thinking they were going to go bigger, better. But now, in looking back, again, this is Mark's opinion. I think we talked about it a little bit. Is, you know, when they went down in terms of the
Personalizations.
smaller, the diode direction. It's easier for them to own that space than it is to own the space that all the competitors are in. Like,
Yes.
say, the Thunders, the Eons, the X-Tools, the ones that are bigger. So they went down and kind of owned that diode space.
And it wasn't a bad business
No,
move.
not at all.
Like
No?
Not
diodes
at
are
all.
really hard to use. Laser gerbil is terrible.
Right, I know, yeah.
Some of the more expensive diodes can use light burn.
Right.
But like laser gerbil and like the K40s, the K40, like the software is what's holding them back. And I think we'd all agree Glowforge software is incredible.
Yeah.
It does things automatically that you don't even know it's doing until you use a different laser.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was
When I
a
have the
follow-up
Aura
question
in the
that I
other
think
room,
we've
too,
Right.
if you guys
We've
wanna
already
test
started
it.
answering. The follow-up question was, what's like one improvement to the Glowforge that you think could catapult it back to the top? So Genevieve mentioned maybe a deeper
riser, yeah.
a riser for it.
Number
What
one
else?
to me is not being internet dependent. You got to kill that.
Yeah.
You got to kill that. That's number one. That has to be it.
But that's going to be so hard to
Oh,
do.
I
with
know,
the
but I don't have to
machinery.
I don't have to justify my
just
answer. Right. What do I
Just
want?
do this.
If I could throw my 2 cents.
Oh, of course.
Don't get rid of the internet. I mean, everybody runs on it anyway. But people don't understand what it takes to, I'm a software developer,
Yeah.
turn an SVG into Xcode. It's
Yeah.
a massive operation. And that's what Glowforge is doing for a minute or 2 minutes you don't see.
Sure.
Complain about the time it takes. They're faster servers for the premium are faster servers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Massive amount of work happening.
You see,
Oh, so you're right.
Come offline, you're going to do it on your little machine at home. It's going to take 4 times as long.
Yeah.
You know, that's a very fair point. And I'll try to repeat. I don't know if anybody can hear it online, so I'll try to repeat it. Is we don't, and correct me if I say it wrong, but the processing that they're doing is significant. And so if we were to take away the internet, we'd have to do it locally, right?
And then you have a big machine to carry along.
You know, that's a fair point. I think for me, I'm just thinking, I don't like that. Now, to be honest, I've had a Glowforge probably the same time as you have,
yeah.
6 years or whatever it is. And the total amount of time that I've been offline in 6 years, added all together, is not a single day, like in terms of 24 hours. So if you look at that 24 hours in 6 years, is no big deal. But every time it happened, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I would love that not to be the thing. And I understand that I would be trading off some power, but that would be the one thing I'd like to see.
for me, the first thing they should do is put an Ethernet port in.
Oh,
Just put an Ethernet
That's fair.
port in. Just,
Yeah.
That's a fair
you
answer.
know, a
Yeah.
minor tweak to the board and a plug, so you're not on 2.4 gigahertz wireless.
that's a great
That is such a simple fix that will stop so many issues, especially with speed and downloading. It does not affect the security. It does not affect the performance. That it does not affect the software. That it's just an easy fix.
And all the setup problems that people have that are just Wi-Fi
I
related.
know, yeah.
They're not anything else, just Wi-Fi. That's a great point.
And I've used a lot of lasers, and it seems like all of the ones that connect to the internet only connect to 2.4 gigahertz.
Yeah.
Xtool, GYKey, Glowforge. I'm not sure why that is, but they
I
have that in
remember
common.
reading the reason behind that, and I can't recall at the moment, but there's something to do with the bandwidth at 5.6 or something like that. So,
that Ethernet would fix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other questions we have?
All right. We don't have any more questions online at the moment. So live audience, what questions, Marilyn?
This is one that I asked Jonathan before the session started, and I think Brian says that we should do it in the session.
Absolutely.
Is if it on my crumb tray, when I use the improved grade, it doesn't cut through all the way, like at the back left corner. And Jonathan said, not on the lid, but on the.
Crumb
You
tray.
can explain it. You can explain it.
All right. Well, since I'm the one, from the horse's mouth. I'm doing this blind, but my feeling is her Glowforge is slightly off balance.
yeah.
So the machine is just slightly tilted. So when the laser gets to that point, it's fighting gravity. And so it's at a slight angle, and a knife blade, which a laser is, if it's sharp, will cut through. If it's dull, will not cut through. And so all I'm suggesting is her to put a couple of quarters under the side that is low, and then go and take a level that you can buy at any hardware store, put it on the crumb tray, and make sure the crumb tray is level, not the top glass. And try it and see if it works.
Right.
It's just making sure, again, it's a minor thing, but the laser is working on microns.
Yeah.
And so it's just a really simple
And
solution.
since the case is plastic, so it can
Right.
it can torque, any direction.
Especially with heat.
Right.
I think I find a lot of simple ways to do things because I'm lazy, and so there's no way I'm going to walk all the way out to my garage to get a level. So the way, like,
Water bottle.
I have a video that talks about the difference between flat and level, and putting a level on the
that.
top doesn't tell you anything about your Glowforge. It's about it being flat.
Yep.
And so what I do is, if your Glowforge is flat, the lid closes smoothly. It doesn't rub on either side. And so we'll take a tour of our makerspace later today, and we have a Glowforge in there, and there's a full piece of, like, just a circle cut out of 1/8 inch under one side of it. And if I take that out, the lid hits on its way down, and if I put it under there, the lid closes and opens smoothly.
So exactly. Yeah, I said 2/4 because I'm
Yeah,
too
1/8
lazy to
inch.
cut a piece of wood.
I usually have more 1/8 inch lying around than quarters these days. So.
I don't even want to tell you about my waste pile.
Right.
The scraps is a lot. Yeah.
You know, actually, that's really a good question for the thing. What do you do with scraps? How do you solve a problem like Glowforge scraps?
Oh, geez. I call it Glowforge glitter.
Yeah.
Actually, I have so much. It's not the scraps so much that's the problem for me. It's all the little pieces that are left.
Oh, the little.
And they're all reasonably good size to be used in, like, earrings, and some people said mosaics, and some of these pieces I end up with are this large. So I have a bunch of scraps that I've cut out of. And I finally have taught myself to say, you know what, if there's not more than, like, a few inches of usable anything, get rid of it.
Yep.
Just throw it out.
Yep.
My husband's convinced that the wood, because it's on a plywood base or MDF base, that we can't throw it in the green waste. So I don't know if that's true or not, but so I do go landfill versus, like, recycle or green waste. But on the other hand, then, I have all these pieces that are so large. So a friend of mine said, oh, what you need to do is do these packets of all the other sizes and send them to schools. Yeah, so lots of schools need pieces for the kids to make projects out of. And this gives them a variety of sizes, and it gives them a variety of shapes. Some of the stuff I cut out is stars, some of it's squares, some of it's like, rhombus, or some of it's like cattails and flowers. So it actually is a really nice mix of things. So if you do have a school local, ask them if they'd like it. And then in Glowforge user group, I know that we have several teachers in New York who are saying that they're really low on stuff like that. So I plan to just box up a whole bunch of stuff into the flat rate boxes and just ship it out to them.
Or I'll look right in the camera because I won't say my friend's name, but I have a friend who is a hoarder who, when he comes by my office, I used to throw things away, and when you see him in the top of the trash can, you take it out. So now I just know, just to give it straight to him, I will not say your name.
Cough, Bill, cough, Bill.
Yeah, right.
All right. So unfortunately for the live audience, for the online audience, that's the end. It's lunchtime and we're finished. So let's thank our expert panel again.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you to the online members who asked questions. We appreciate that as well. So we're going to break now. The live audience has access to the experts all day long and can ask the rest of the questions. And we will post the video of the Q&A session later on. We'll probably let you know in all of our groups where that's going to be. We haven't really decided yet. But thank you. And that's it for the Q&A session. Thank you, experts.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm going to take a
All right,
quick.
so now what real questions do you have?